On Friday, Native American activists and their allies from all across the country gathered in Washington, D.C. to defend Native rights to clean land and water and draw attention to often unfair treatment from the federal government. The Native Nations March on D.C. grew out of last year's protests against the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline in North Dakota. The Standing Rock Sioux tribe spent months camping out to block the final stage of the nearly 1,200-mile pipeline, which is slated to run beneath a lake on the Missouri River just upstream of the tribe's reservation. The Sioux and their supporters, who call themselves water protectors, were concerned that the pipeline would disturb sacred sites and threaten the reservation's water supply with the possibility of contamination. Standing Rock was far from the first time that Native people have occupied land in an attempt to fight a government that has pushed them to the margins time and time again. In 1868, the U.S. government promised the Lakota Sioux tribe territory in the Black Hills, but then took part of it back when gold was discovered in the mountains. In response, about 10,000 members of 3 different tribes set up camp at the Little Bighorn River in Montana to resist the army. From November 1969 to June 1971, Native Americans occupied the island of Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay as a demonstration against federal laws that took land away from tribes and jeopardized Native culture. So the encampment at Standing Rock, near the small town of Cannonball, North Dakota, follows in the tradition of Native resistance. The Obama administration temporarily blocked the final phase of construction last fall, and the Army Corps of Engineers refused to grant the permits needed to complete the pipeline. But when Donald Trump took office, he signed an executive order directing the Army to approve the permits and pave the way for the final phase. On February 23rd, the camp at Standing Rock was evacuated by order of the governor, and the pipeline is expected to begin carrying crude oil from North Dakota to Illinois later this month. While the camp has been abandoned, the movement has not. As options for legal challenges fade, the Standing Rock Sioux and their supporters moved their occupation to the National Mall and marched on the White House with 3 demands. President Trump must meet with tribal leaders to hear their concerns and address the problems facing Native people. The federal government must ask Native Americans for consent, not just consultation, when it comes to things that could infringe on their rights to sovereign land, like the construction of a pipeline. Tribal sovereignty, though it has been restricted through treaties, executive orders, and court decisions, ensures that any decision about a tribe's property and citizens is made with the tribe's participation and consent. And finally, Native people from across North America need to come together to rise with the Standing Rock tribe in calling on the American government to respect and protect the rights of Indigenous nations. For Fresco Says, this is Leah.